Alright, we're back. And what we're going to do now is attach the top gasket. Make sure that it's felt down, or whatever material you used on the inside of the gasket down towards your hand. And what we're going to do is we're going to size it now for to attach it on using the rivets. Now it's really important when you're sizing it up that you leave a little bit of space around the circle on each side around your mouth plate, and that just allows the foam piece, which I'll describe later, to be put on. As well, you don't want your rivet holes to be too close to the edging of your rubber gasket, or the gasket rubber will rip after you've attached the rivets on. So what I do is I use this little punch hole. You can also use like just a marker if you want, just to mark down where the holes are, and I just pop it through the bottom where I've already drilled, and then I use a marker and just make them a little bit more apparent to see, so they're a little bit easier. Now you do this for all the rivets that you're going to be putting in, and there should be 4 of them. If you want to put more in, that's fine, but I think it's kind of overkill unless you're making a bigger mouth plate. So I've marked all these. And then once they're marked, I use the punch that I have here just to poke holes in each one so that the rivets are easier to sort of go through both material. And I'm punching each one. I got this punch at Michael's, but you can also get it at Fabricland or any leather craft place or sewing place. And like I said, you want to make sure that there's enough space between the hole and the edging on your gasket rubber, just in case if someone with bigger hands puts their hand in, it's not putting force on those rivets and causing the gasket rubber to rip through. So here are the rivets, and I got these at Michael's as well. It comes in a pack with all the tools that you need to countersink the rivets, and it comes in various sizes. This pack has a small variety of different sizes of rivets, and if you get the same pack, what you'll need to do is just put sort of the rivet through the hole, just to make sure that you have enough space for the rivet to set properly. And what I do is I'll just show you without putting it through the hole that it should go right through with a little bit of a space up top. And what I like to do is I'll do one side of the mouth plate and I'll put the rivets in, but I'll put all 4 in just to show you what it should look like once you get the rivets in. So there's a flat side of the rivet, and they are sticking through. Now, like I said, I'm going to do the one side. So I'll attach the gasket rubber. Make sure that the felt part of the gasket rubber is facing down, because that's where your hand's going to go. It shouldn't be up. And once you you might have to play around with it to get them on to the rivets as well, but it should be fine once you give a little stretch. And now you're going to put the top head of the gasket on, or the rivet on top, and using the tools, the flat part of the rivet should be on the flat part of the cylindrical piece there. And then there's also sort of a countersink tool that you can use, and you just use a hammer and just hammer it down. Simple as that. So you do all 4, and make sure that you're hammering on a stable platform. I use my workbench here, so it doesn't. If you're hitting the rivet and it's not on a stable piece, it could ruin the rivet, and then you'll have to re-rivet everything. So there's the top half done. Now the dilemma that you're going to have is the thumb piece. Now you're going to do the exact same thing that we have done for the top piece as for your thumb, but you'll want to make sure that your thumb sort of fits comfortably within that slot. It should sort of hit the knuckle of your thumb with a little bit of space, so that, like I said, people with bigger hands or various different sizes of hands can use it comfortably. Now once you've sized that piece of rubber up, you're going to trace it like you did the top half onto fabric, or in this case Velux, with a little bit of space in between, about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch, so that when you cut it out and glue it onto the gasket rubber, it'll fit properly. I also added just a little piece of Velux to the bottom as well. So as not to bore you, what I've done is I basically did the exact same process that I did for the top half for the bottom. So I just fast tracked that. It's a little boring and you really don't need to see me rivet that down. And now what you're going to do next is add the color for your mouth. And what you'll want to do is trace the entire mouth plate that you've just built onto fabric, or in this case, I'm using a one-sided sticky felt. And you'll want to cut it out. And once it's cut out, what you're going to do is dab glue on both the fabric, on the one side of the fabric, and onto your mouth plate, the entire roundness of your mouth plate. And I've fast-tracked that too because you really don't need to see me dabbing glue there and then adding the felt onto that plate. And once I've sort of attached that onto the mouth plate, basically the mouth plate is done and we're ready to go on to the next step. So if you have any questions, email me at tom@thecreatureworks.ca.